Hello and welcome to another episode of Chalk Talk here on the Brandon Ramsey College Basketball Show YouTube channel. So please make sure you are subscribed here to the YouTube channel. We'll have more content coming to you throughout March Madness. Also, go follow me on Twitter at BRamseyKSR and leave this video a like if you do enjoy it. But we're going to dive right into some of Kentucky's defensive execution against Illinois in the round of 32 in Milwaukee. I had boots on the ground for this game and their round of 64 win over Troy. But Kentucky has completely changed their identity defensively. Quite frankly, for the first few months of the season, first couple months of the season, they were not good to arguably bad defensively. And then since February 8th, now a 13-game sample size, they are 10th in adjusted defensive efficiency per Bart Torvik. And we're going to see some examples of what has changed for Kentucky and what has led to them being so effective defensively, which was certainly a big part of them being able to advance to the Midwest Regional Sweet 16 in Indianapolis this coming weekend. But we're going to dive into the film room here and break down. I think we have 5 clips from the Illinois game that I want to touch on. But probably more than anything else, Kentucky's willingness to switch, especially in this Illinois game, is what led to so much defensive success. And we're going to see it right here. We get a little bit of a downhill ball screen set by Avicic on Yakachonis of Illinois. As he gets downhill, you see Amari Williams over here kind of in drop coverage, and he's ready to wall that off and take it while Colin Chandler stays with Avicic on the roll. And what makes this so important is watch Otega Oweh on Will Riley. If Kentucky were not to switch this, then Otega Oweh would have to kind of stay in here in order to tag and help on Avicic on the roll. Watch this part right here. If Colin Chandler doesn't go with Avicic, then Oweh would have to have stayed. However, he's able to stay with Will Riley because he knows that these two guys are going to switch. And we'll see why that's important right now, because he can get out there and jump the passing lane. Yes, we cut that clip a little bit short because Oweh did blow the layup. But just the mentality of knowing that Colin Chandler and Amari Williams were going to switch that allowed Otega Oweh to stay out here in the passing lane on Will Riley, jump it, and get the steal. Again, good things happen when you switch the ball screens, especially against a pick and pop 5-man like Tomislav Avicic. Now you have Morez Johnson in the game, and once again, you don't have to switch the ball screens nearly as much when Johnson's in the game, but you see it work out here. Illinois gets to a little bit of a Spain ball screen now with Will Riley setting the back screen on Amari Williams, but I think earlier in the season, Williams would have kind of given up at this point, honestly. He would have felt himself getting screened. He wouldn't have known what to do, and he just would have kind of stood up and watched the play happen. But here you see him fight around and get himself into rim protection position, and once again, Colin Chandler is recovering to Morez Johnson on the roll as opposed to staying on Yakachonis' hip and giving up the layup on the roll. Andrew Carr did a pretty good job of sinking in here. Otega Oweh kept himself involved in the play to some extent, but the route on Colin Chandler's recovery here, he gets screened a little bit, but again, instead of staying with Yakachonis, he knows Williams is stepping over, so then his route starts to veer back towards Morez Johnson, and that allows him to get a hand on the ball. Andrew Carr pursues it with 2 hands aggressively and gets the steal. Excellent play there for Kentucky. Now here, we do see Kentucky mix things up defensively a little bit with Morez Johnson in the game. Now, Avicic is also in the game. They kind of go twin towers here, but Avicic is away from the ball. Morez Johnson is not a pick and pop threat. So here you see Kentucky in their down coverage, icing it, whatever you want to call it, forcing Boswell here to not use the screen, and Amari Williams is in deep drop coverage here. Force him downhill. Amari Williams stays because, again, this is not a shooting threat. That Kentucky wants them to kick the ball back out to Morez Johnson. Trent Noah shrinks the floor here pretty well off of a non-shooter and Gibbs Lawhorn. That's a great job shrinking the floor. Now you have almost a double team on Boswell. Chandler really wouldn't have even had to have stunted like that, but watch not only how he recovers, but he recovers out into the passing lane. That is so big time right there by Colin Chandler. It gets me fired up. That is fun to watch how he knew. Again, I wouldn't probably even stunted at Morez Johnson, But if you do stunt, that recovery right there is as high of an IQ play as you'll see in the NCAA tournament. That's literally how big time that one play is right there. Now, like, hey, Merez Johnson, please drive it at you. And Lamar Williams does a great job staying in there, doesn't foul. That's a bad shot by Johnson, a miss, a rebound. Just excellent defensive execution by Kentucky there. Another clip. This myself and David Sisk on Twitter talked about this play quite a bit live, and then he had a clip of it. I had a clip of it. It's just big time from Kentucky switching this ball screen here, and you really do disguise it well because when Boswell feels Kobe Brea going over the ball screen, and especially with Amari Williams' positioning, he thinks they're just kind of in drop coverage here, and the read is going to be to throw the pick and pop little pocket pass to Ivisic on the roll. However, even though Brea is going over it, he's switching. He's kind of wrapping the screen almost, getting an arm around Ivisic, and he's going to just stay with number 13 on the pop, which puts him directly into the passing lane and steals the ball. This last clip here, one of Kentucky's better and a longer defensive possessions. They didn't force a turnover here, but they got to stop, and it was excellent. And again, just more willingness to switch is what you see throughout this possession. Owe and Williams switch this initial ball screen with Ivisic setting it. That's great. Takes away the pick and pop. Now, as Ivisic rolls in there, great recognition by Andrew Carr to step in and improve the matchup and send Otega Owe out to the corner there to guard Trey White. Now you get Butler and Williams in a ball screen here with Boswell and Will Riley. Not much of a difference in terms of the matchup there, so you might as well just switch that one. Great recognition once again to switch it. And then here is Amari Williams being the three-time CAA Defensive Player of the Year. Quite frankly, early in the season, I think we were all a little bit surprised, if not disappointed, in Amari Williams defensively, aside from his rebounding. Now, here lately, with Kentucky's improvement to 10th overall in defense since February 8th, it's been a lot because Amari Williams has turned into that rim protector, that big-time defender that we all expected him to be this year at Kentucky. And for him to stay with Will Riley and block that shot is incredibly big time. And then Will Riley gets it back. Williams doesn't panic. He stays with him out to the perimeter, is out there to contest this shot. Great box out by Andrew Carr, and we're going the other way. It was just big time execution throughout this game for the Kentucky Wildcats. They did an excellent job, really, for all 40 minutes for the most part, to hold a very dangerous Illinois offense down and obviously do enough to win the game. It'll take a similar performance to continue winning in this NCAA tournament, starting with Tennessee in the Sweet 16. But again, just the improvements that this Kentucky team has made on the defensive end of the floor has been fun to watch. And quite frankly, I think with where they stood going into February, I'm not sure that even the most optimistic member of Big Blue Nation could have imagined the defense getting to where it is today. That is a massive reason why the Cats are still dancing in March Madness, and it's a big reason why they honestly have a chance to continue going further. So thank you for watching today's episode of Chalk Talk. I hope you enjoyed that film breakdown of Kentucky's success defensively against the Illinois Fighting Illini. Hope you stick around and continue to follow us throughout the NCAA tournament. You can like this video, please, if you haven't already. Give it a comment as well. Subscribe to the Brandon Ramsey College Basketball Show YouTube channel and go over and follow me on Twitter at BRamseyKSR. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of the NCAA tournament.